River Road flood mitigation engineer says issue of flooding will soon be a thing of the past. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
With the details to the news for Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, I am Chrisanne Mitchell. Resident engineer with Beston Consulting Company, Winston Gabriel, says remedial action will soon be undertaken in packages 2 and 5 to resolve flooding issues in the River Road area. On Tuesday, following heavy rainfall, engineers and Ministry of Infrastructure Development officials visited the area of the flood mitigation project to assess the flow of the water and formulate a plan on the way forward. Gabriel explained that although all the walls in Package 2 are complete, the heavy flow of water in the river pushes the water into a nearby culvert and causes a rise. This, he said, can be fixed by installing flap gates on the riverside of the culvert.
Once the level in the river rises, the water will backflow into these culverts. However, we have already issued instructions and orders have already been placed for flap gates, which would shut the river off from coming into the culvert. And when the river level goes down, the water from the inside will just open the culverts and flow out. So all that backing up from the river will be finished. And that will be your major problem in Package 2. And this is how we intend to solve the matter.
The other area identified as a contributor to the flood is in Package 5, close to the Humpback Bridge. Gabriel outlines the plans for the area.
The level of the water in the drain is the same as the level in the river. So as soon as the rain comes and the level of the water rises, it backs into the drain and causes all that major flooding in the road. In addition to the flooding caused by the river where the walls have not yet been built. And these walls are in Package 5 of this project, which is now out to tender, which includes the replacement of the Humpback Bridge with a new bridge in this location, and the demolition of the Humpback Bridge on completion, because the Humpback Bridge in its present condition causes a lot of backing up and flooding of the area.
The resident engineer spoke of work to be done in the vicinity of the cemetery and Spice Isle retreaters. He said government has already approved the designs.
As I spoke to the engineering ministry a short while ago, we intend to build a berm, an open berm, and plant it with vetiver grass at an elevation so that we can prevent any flooding into the cemetery. The ministry have seen our design, they have approved it. We have already, as a matter of fact, up to yesterday, we asked the contractor to do a 10-meter sample because we have one of our geotechnical engineers on the island. So we just want him to do a 10-meter sample so we can look at it and make our comments and give the final approval. We have had a meeting about maybe a month or two ago with the owners of Spice Isle Traders in which we discussed exactly what we are going to do. And at that point, they said they were happy that there was no problem. So it's just a matter now to get in the contractor to actually start the works.
Packages 3 and 4 of the project have already been completed, with packages 1 and 2 in progress, scheduled to be completed by the end of the year. Packages 5 and 6 are now out for tender and includes the replacement of the steel bridge and construction of retaining walls. Government is partnering with the United Nations Development Programme and other stakeholders to preserve and revegetate Livera Beach as part of the UNDP's Integrated Sustainable Landscape Management Project. This as concerns continue to heighten on the impacts of climate change and the effects of coastal erosion in the Livera area. Livera Beach is a popular spot for social activities and turtle watching, but has been suffering from coastal erosion due to climate change and sand mining. It is also home to a Ramsar site designated as a wetland of international importance. As part of its efforts to assist the community, several groups and organizations were involved in a tree planting exercise recently.
Livera is an important turtle nesting area, and beach restoration, ensuring that the rapid rate of erosion that normally takes place, especially around this time, is sort of significantly reduced. So the students will be planting along the high water mark in strategic areas to ensure that we have full coverage and soil erosion is reduced in this area. Sustainability is crucial, and by involving the student, we sort of create an environment for continued management of the trees and so on. That is also consistent with what they are doing in Tamsisi.
That was UNDP team leader Aidan Foto, who is also a sustainable landscape management specialist, demonstrating the proper planting methods. Claudette Pitt, who leads Specto, an advocacy group responsible for organizing turtle tours at Livera Beach, says the organization is feeling the effects of climate change and is happy that the move was made to plant trees.
Climate change is real, and the mitigation and the adaptation work that we have to do needs a lot more constant education and awareness. We hope that the more trees that are planted here, they will continue to grow and create some kind of mitigation to the rise in sea level that is taking place on this beach.
Forestry Officer Dillian Palmer explained that the new trees will restore some of the vegetation along the beach, while at the same time acting as a buffer for the coastline.
This initiative is a good one because the tree planting initiative will help to restore some of the vegetation on the beach and also to act as a buffer to our coastal environment. As you see on the beach, it's been eroded, so this tree planting initiative will help to restore on the beach in order to mitigate some of the actions of climate change at sea level rise and other effects that may have impact to damage the beach in the near future.
One of the facilitators within the TA Marischal Community College's environmental program, Earl Roberts, says the tree planting initiative will give students a greater awareness of the value of the ecosystem.
The objective is really to allow for many of our students to understand the value of such an ecological location. Livera provides support in a social way, in an ecological way, and it's one of our pride locations on the island. And if our students can get involved to understand what's going on in that point and to be part of a tree planting initiative, I think that is an excellent initiative. So today it's going to be a mark in history, and we want to be part of it.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on Sunday, November 13th. This race starts at 2 p.m., beginning at Current Junction, St. David, and going to the Karani James Athletic Stadium. There are prizes for the top 10 male and female finishers in the half marathon, top 5 finishers in the 10K, prizes for the oldest finisher, youngest finisher, and the school, club, or organization with the most finishers. Transportation will be provided. Register at grenadaaccess.com. Registration closes Saturday, 12th November. The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on.
Butchers are being cautioned to practice safe slaughtering and handling of livestock, especially during the ensuing festive season. For years, interest has grown in people butchering and selling livestock to the public, especially around the Christmas season, and there has been an increase in this activity within communities as well as with unlicensed butchers. However, there has been a decline in calls for people in communities who would like to sell meat independently, which is worrying to the Ministry of Health. Health Inspector Kelvin Licorice says he is anticipating close collaboration with the farmers and butchers during the festive season for inspection and other services. Mr. Licorice was the guest speaker on the Next Chapter television show with Communications Officer Kevin Frederick.
We do get calls, but not as we expect. Because the thing is that some of the parishes, from an example, St. David's, in terms of the abattoir, it does not have an abattoir. So, in that case, you have what you call the backyard slaughtering. So this is where, the butcher, would actually go and, slaughter the animals and so on. But what we have been doing, we have been working along with the butchers. And, we have, asked them, whenever, they want to slaughter, that they call the health officer and so on, to do the inspection. The backyard slaughtering setting is actually similar to the abattoir. In terms of you want to ensure that the flow, you actually have a smooth surface and a source of water. In terms of slaughtering of animals, running water is key. And we actually ask for the water's supply, because that's water that's actually treated. So we're looking for a safe source.
The Ministry of Health has had a number of issues involving improper handling of meat, such as the exposure to environmental elements like dust, sunlight, and insects. Animals stolen for resale has also been a major concern.
One of the concerns lies in terms of you'll actually have the issue where, for example, the animal might have a wound, and it was actually not treated for that wound, and as a result of that, you actually have antibiotics, let's say, for example, in the tissues and muscle of the animal, and that have not been worn out, so to speak, and as a result, it's going to actually affect the public by eating meat that have antibiotics residues and stuff like that.
It is also recommended that butchers wear personal protective equipment when handling meat.
One of the safety techniques and measures is that they use gloves, and you can see the PPEs, which is the boots, the overall, head covering and so on. So they ensure that you have a new PPEs.
A new cohort of youth parliamentarians has commenced training leading up to the 2023 series of Parish Youth Parliament. In their quest to acquire more knowledge about parliamentary proceedings, the first-timers to the Youth Parliament, Kwesi Pope and Priya Campbell, spoke of their expectations.
From this training, I expect to learn more about parliamentary proceedings and to develop self-confidence.
I always have had an interest ever since I was a little boy in how government works, how it functions. The whole history of Grenada's parliament and our parliamentary democracy. So joining the youth parliament was an excellent opportunity for myself to not just learn and gain insight, but to know how Grenada's parliament functions.
A beneficiary of the Training for Trainers session, Amoni Francis, is charged with the responsibility for facilitating the ongoing Parish Youth Parliament training. Sharing her experience as a past parliamentarian, Francis says,
As facilitator, my job is to teach. I am technically a teacher, so I teach the same things that I would have learned about Parliament, how Parliament works, but I also try to make persons very good speakers in general. So we try to do a lot of impromptu speaking, just throw topics out there to them so that they are able to think on the spot, think on their feet, and just deliver something, say something just by thinking on the spot. just like that. So we do a lot of that, yeah.
A major focus of this year's Parliament is the training for trainers. Past parliamentarian and training facilitator Tessa Sincere shares her rewarding experience and role as a facilitator in the training for trainers.
And it has always been an interesting experience. Not every cohort you get is at the same level, and so it is nice to see at the end of it that you can actually bring up the participants to the level where they can stand independently and deliver a speech. This round is no different. I am actually doing the train the trainers first, and then they in turn are doing the sessions while I monitor, evaluate what is going on and help them along. So I've already noticed that we have some very strong speakers, people who have already been involved in debating, maybe not parliamentary debate, but in debating, so they do have strong speaking skills, and it's just a matter of getting them accustomed to the parliamentary procedures, the standing orders, and refreshing their minds as to how we go about doing this debate in that setting.
The upcoming Parish Youth Parliament series is scheduled to commence in December 2022. That story has brought us to the end of the National Report for today, Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I am Chris Mitchell saying thank you for joining us.